Good. I am taking us live right about now, and we'll wait for I think a couple more seconds, and we'll start soon after that. How have
Okay.
you been? How's everything?
I'm great. I'm doing good. Prince is doing well. Thanks for having me on your show. Been pleasure.
Yeah, super cool. All right, we're going live now. Hi, everyone, and welcome to another really exciting episode of Voice of Crypto's podcast, where we get really interesting guests from the Web3, crypto, and blockchain space. And today we have with us yet another really interesting guest, Mr. Vijay, who is the founder and CEO of bitsCrunch. bitsCrunch has been doing a lot in the NFT space, and they've been backed by brands like Animoca brands and a few others. And we'll know a lot more about Vijay, his journey in the Web3 space, and about bitsCrunch from his own mouth. So, hi, Vijay. Firstly, welcoming you to Voice of Crypto.
Hi. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be on this show. You guys have been doing this consistently for a few weeks, few months, and always happy to jump onto the wagon to share my own piece of knowledge to the general crypto audience.
Right. Really excited and really looking forward to this discussion today. And I think my first question to all my guests is the same. How has your journey in the Web3 space been? More importantly, how did you pivot from Web2 to Web3 and what led to that transition?
So, I mean, this is not the ideal market to ask the mood of the uh, the person,
Right.
but to be honest, it's been a surreal journey to jump from a completely the extreme end of Web 2 to Web 3, and I'm also living in Munich, Germany, which is
Yeah.
not a typical crypto place, to be honest, because Germany
Right.
is always known for its bureaucracy and taxes. So to be in a place where I am located and to be coming out of Volkswagen, to be coming out of Siemens, two giant names in the German industry, and to step into crypto has always been a tricky decision. But to be honest, after 2 years, because now it's been 2 years of work at bitsCrunch, where we are building from the scratch, and now it looks good. Like looks like I have made the right decision, and
Yeah.
no looking back from now on.
So, how has the journey of bitsCrunch panned out, and how did you come up with the idea of bitsCrunch?
Mhm.
First, we'll talk about that, and then I have a few other exciting questions about your brand.
Okay.
So, how did you come up with the idea?
So maybe I'll give a two liner about who I am. So I'm Vijay, originally from Chennai in India, and I moved to Munich 10 years ago. It's been a decade of life in Germany. I did my masters here. That was one of the reasons why I came here. And I am also an avid traveler. I've been to 40 countries till date. Pretty much covered most of the Europe, and I've been to the West as well.
Yeah.
And like I said, I worked for Volkswagen and Siemens, two German OGs in the Web2 industry, and I founded BitFrench amidst pandemic in 2021.
Yeah.
And yeah, so bits crunch. What is bits crunch? We crunch each and every bits of data
Right.
behind the entities. So if you ask any data professional, data crunching is one of the key terms that you could hear. Right? I mean, I guess there are some internet issues, but I guess now it's fine. So yes,
I think.
data crunching each and every bits of data. So we wanted to be
Hmm.
the data layer on NFTs, because when we started, the aha moment was the famous $69 million sale that happened a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Everybody knows people's 500 or 5,000 days of people. That was the art that got sold, but very less number of people knows the buyer. The buyer was Meta
Hmm.
Bowen, and he comes from Chennai, the same birthplace of mine. So that was
Yeah.
my aha moment to step into crypto, because when somebody who comes from your place invests such a heavy amount on something that is upcoming, that is when I really got hooked into this space, and I thought, okay, let's build something on it. And since have been always doing data, looking into data analytics, I thought, okay, let's look into NFT data. And yeah, now we are in a good position. We have raised close to $6.5 million over the last 2 years. We are backed by Animoca Brands, Coinbase Ventures, our own Polygon, Chainlink, Hashkey Capital, Gate Labs, Crypto.com. So some of the best names in the industry are backing us. So that's a validation for what we are doing. And
Absolutely.
we also work with Mastercard. And I'm
Right.
just letting this news out here on the podcast. We just won the Blockchain Startup Award of Germany just
Wow.
yesterday from PwC, another big four, one of the big names in the industry. And yeah, uh, one step at a time, and just going
Yeah.
upwards, I believe.
Yeah, great news coming in from bitsCrunch, and many congratulations to you and the team. I'm sure that the efforts that you guys have put in do deserve this and a lot more. And without a doubt, bitsCrunch has been sort of the light bearer or the torch bearer in the crypto space. And like you said, you have been backed by a lot of very recognizable brands in the Web3 space as well as out of the Web3 space. And Vijay, it won't be wrong to say that you are sort of living the Web3 entrepreneur dream because I think getting fundings or raising funds is one of the most crucial aspects. Even though entrepreneurs sometimes come up with great ideas, I think getting funding and being recognized by important brands, existing important brands, is one of the key challenges. So, how did bitsCrunch sort of navigate from the ideation phase to raising investments and establishing the company as one of the biggest players in the market? So, how was your raising investment journey?
Hmm?
Yeah.
Just there is an issue.
I could quickly repeat that question if you need me to.
I got it. I got it. So we the initial fundraise was tough, as you could imagine, because we registered bitsCrunch Private Limited in India first up in 2020. So now it looks the fag end of 2020. So India is always known for its uh, distancing themselves from crypto and blockchain, which is fair because India is quite huge. It's one of the
Yeah.
biggest democracies in the world, and any step that is taken can have a huge impact in the entire industry, right? So we we then set up a BVI, British Virgin Islands, and then a German entity. So these things were happening in 2021. So that is when we
Hmm.
were officially into crypto and NFTs. So the
Hmm.
first couple of fundraisers were failures. Now that we have all the big names and 6.5 million looks lucrative, but then at the early days we failed twice. Nobody knows that story. We failed twice. We were struggling to raise funds because we come from typical Web two, right? I come from Siemens. I come from Volkswagen. A friend of mine comes from PhD in a university. Another co-founder was a graduate in Ireland, master's graduate. So we didn't have any Web3 background as such. So to stamp authority, it was tough at the beginning. But then the initial
Hmm.
fundraise happened in 2021. Touchwood, we got VCs, micro VCs in the first round itself. We raised 750K. The market was not a peak bull. We started raising in 2020, and beginning of 2021 was the first raise. So sort of we started our journey in the bear market, and now we are talking in the next bear market. And
Yeah.
in between, we were able to raise 3.6 million. That is where Animoca, Coinbase, Polygon, and others came in. And after that, luckily enough, just before the market crash, just before FTX and everybody went down, we were able to raise 2 million again. And with that,
Hmm.
we have a pretty solid runway. And now that
Right.
our work is recognized by Mastercard, like I said, PwC, we are in contact with KPMG, Deloitte. So that tells you where we are heading towards. So we would like to be the interface between Web 2 and Web 3.
Hmm.
And happy to be where we are right now. But
Hmm.
yeah, a lot of struggles, a lot of tough situations were behind the scenes.
Absolutely. So if I have to talk about the challenges, the key challenges that you faced while establishing this firm, and some challenges that entrepreneurs in Web3 space will face, what
Mhm.
would they be?
Obviously, fundraising for any entrepreneur will be challenging, will be tough, and anybody who haven't done that previously in life, let's say, I'm myself, I'm a first time entrepreneur. So my dad is a police, my mom is a teacher. Nobody from my home, not even my first circle, second circle, nobody is into entrepreneurship. Everybody, in fact, hates it to become an entrepreneur because they
I can
fear,
relate to this.
yeah, they fear failure. They think that um, well established companies, jobs from those or government jobs are pretty much stable. Uh,
Yeah,
and to come from there to raise funds is definitely challenging, and to put together a team, right? I mean, the basement is always a challenging task. I have seen so many startup raise seed fund, pre-seed, and then they crumble because they were not able to put together a solid team, put together a mix of experience and youngsters. So you have
right.
to find the balance in finding the right tempo, right mindset, right people, and that is what helps. Because I always tell my team that we are a mix of Mumbai Indians and Chennai Super Kings, if you are aware of IPL. Because
Yeah,
both follow extreme ideologies. I mean, Mumbai Indians, they pick youngsters, but then they give them a long rope and
yeah,
train them to be the next leaders, right? I mean, some of the players who trained from Mumbai is now the captains of other sides. Whereas if you look at
yeah,
Chennai, they pick one side in the first match and pretty much they roll along the entire IPL with the same team, and they back experience. They back
absolutely.
guys over 32, 33, 34 because they believe that those people might have seen a lot in their career and they can adapt themselves according to the current situations. So, in order to find a balance is very important. And again, touch wood, we have put together a good team. So whatever you see
Hmm.
outside, whatever backers that we have, the awards that we receive from Mastercard or PwC has to go to the team. I mean, they deserve every bit of it.
So, great journey, I must say. The last 3 years have been really action packed for the entire industry, and more so for you at the forefront of so many changes. So, what are your expectations from? Let's talk about the NFT market first, because I think you keep a close track of this space. So, what are your expectations from the NFT market per se this year? And we know in terms of numbers, the NFT market hasn't been doing great. If you look at volumes, or if we just look at the hype or the craze around NFTs that was in 2020 or 21 to now, what sort of changes have you seen, and what are your expectations from this year?
Mhm. So NFTs, yes, the market has dipped. That is arguably a given statement. But you have to look at from the macroeconomic perspective. I mean, everything is down. I mean, look at the shares of Facebook, even the big fangs or the big bosses of the world, like Apples and Googles, are firing.
Yeah,
People are losing job. And what do you expect from a baby? I feel NFT is more or less like a baby, which is just crawling, and you cannot expect something massive in such a small space. Because what we realize is we have just seen one bull market for NFTs. Even though
yeah,
NFTs, the first NFTs were launched back in 2017 or 18, like in the name of CryptoPunks or Bored Apes, they weren't a hit overnight, right? It took 4 years for them to appear or be in a position where they are right now. And we have just seen one bull market, and we have seen so many brands stepping into NFTs. We have Nike, Reebok, Adidas, Reddit, Starbucks. And just recently, we are in a peak of a bull market, and just few days back, Azuki launched Elementals collection, and they raised 38 million. I'm sure
Hmm.
any crypto project, even fungible token in the sense Ethereum, Polygon, Avalanche, these fungible tokens are now struggling to raise double-digit millions, and an NFT
Hmm.
collection, which is there for the last 4 years, were able to raise 38 million in what 20 minutes window.
Wow.
So such is the space. So the space is still
Hmm.
evolving. And just to give you another example, just 2 weeks back, Mercedes Benz, one of the world renowned automobile maker, again from Germany, they launched an NFT collection called Mercedes Next NXT. And just around the same timelines, Louis Vuitton, the famous
Hmm.
fashion brand, they launched an NFT which is priced at $40,000. So
Yeah.
space isn't fading away. It is just that the overall market is down, and the entire market, like including Bitcoins, Ethereums, all the altcoins, they were taking a hit over the last few months. But I'm
Yeah.
hopeful of a better return, a better turnaround in the next cycle.
Absolutely. And I think we're already a couple quarters down with two more quarters to go. There is mostly optimism in the market, especially now with, I think, the larger market and the market cap looking a lot better, finally above 1 trillion. In terms of cryptocurrencies, the cryptocurrency market is a lot stable right now, but it has faced constant regulatory concerns, especially from the US. If you have to look at certain most conducive geographies, Vijay, for developing Web3 projects, I think what would they be in terms of geographies, whichever you think are the best?
I mean, Dubai has always been a forefront when it comes to the United Arab Emirates has always been an open market for crypto. That is why you see a lot of teams, a lot of people move towards Dubai. One thing is
Hmm.
crypto friendly regulations, and also tax is free. You don't pay income taxes in Dubai, which
Hmm.
is like a for people like me, it's it's tough to imagine because we pay the most taxes in the world. Germany, we pay about 30-40% taxes, which
Right.
is quite a lot. And that is one geography which is doing well. And then there are European nations as well. Let's say Malta. There is Liechtenstein, Switzerland. Swiss is where most of the foundation has been in place. Ethereum Foundation, Near Foundation, and all the
Hmm.
big foundations. Solana Foundation is in Zug, Crypto Valley.
Hmm.
And there are also some countries like Portugal, Lisbon, Portugal, Barcelona is also
Yeah.
opening up.
Hmm.
But it's still too early because right now the big
Absolutely.
names like BlackRock, Fidelity, Deutsche Bank and others have filed for Bitcoin ETFs. So once it comes along, once we see more
Hmm.
laws, regulations, and compliance in place, more and more
Yeah.
countries will open up.
Absolutely. ETFs have been the talk of the town for the last almost 1 month, and it wouldn't be wrong to say that the application of ETFs from such major giants is what sort of triggered. I wouldn't say a bull run because we're not there yet, but it definitely did pivot the market from more of a bearish side to a more bullish side. So, what are your expectations? Would do you think in the current regulatory environment will these ETFs get an approval? A lot of analysts are saying that there's a 50-50 chance, and some analysts are more pessimistic. What do you think? Do you think that they will go through?
I mean, if you have to go by the history, BlackRock themselves, they have a very massive record. I saw somewhere that it's a record of 1:700 something, 750 or something is their approval rate. So looking at that, it's what one by 750 is the chance of a failure, in my opinion. And when it comes from such a big name, they would have done all the hard yards. They would have done all the research, back end efforts, and all legal and regulatory compliance, and they would have come up with an agreement, right? So I believe certainly they should get this through. And then not just BlackRock, there is Fidelity, there is Deutsche Bank, and all the other big names. It's not a child's play that all these big names go one after the other. It must have been well thoroughly researched effort, I assume, and it should go through. And with Bitcoin halving that is supposed to happen in the next year, early next year, roughly around the end of Q1, Q2, I
Hmm.
believe we will see an uptick in the whole crypto space. I hope. I hope.
Yeah, hope is all we can rely on at this point, anyway. But now I do have a really interesting question for you, a little bit personal. But since you mentioned that you come from an absolutely you come from a service class background in India, and we know how parents are. Doctors and engineers is the first call of all parents, almost all parents here in India. So how do you explain what you do to your parents, Vijay? What you're up to? How do you explain to your community here in India?
Trust me, they don't know what I'm doing here. To be honest, they just know that I'm pursuing something that is ambitious, that is that is beyond traditional world. Like let's say, I mean, entrepreneur. What our parents or what parents back in India, they must have imagined is to set up a shop or an office where there are so many computers in place and so many people work. But we are completely remote. First of all, they are totally shocked to hear that we have a team that works remotely, and they
Yeah.
can't even think of such work methodology.
Hmm.
And moreover, I say it's blockchain, it's crypto, and they don't get the point. They don't believe that
Yeah.
there is token which is created virtually, which is being used for this, which is being used for that. And
Yeah.
some of my relatives, they still think that I'm into some scammy things, to be honest. Sometimes I get into
Yeah.
it. It's hard to explain people, so I don't put so much effort in explaining them. I just give a couple of liners, and if they are against the whole thing, then it's actually a waste of your time, right? I mean, it's waste of my time and their time
Yeah.
contemplating, arguing about things that has already been established. Because crypto market is not going
Absolutely.
anywhere. It's a $1 trillion market, and
Yeah.
$1 trillion is something that is not a joke. That is some serious
Absolutely.
stuff.
Yeah. I'm sure trillions of dollars won't vanish anywhere in thin air. Um, Coming on to my next question, if you have to advise young Web3 entrepreneurs, and we know everyone's trying to build and create in the Web3 space, what would your three biggest pieces of advices be to entrepreneurs in the Web3 blockchain space?
Mhm. I mean, I would say this is the right time to build. I mean, I have always told this in some of my other interviews and podcasts. Even I realized that I've joined the party a little late. Right? I mean, that is the feeling that every entrepreneur gets after getting in. So one thing is just be loyal, be respectful to what you do, no matter what you pursue, no matter what you do in the crypto space. Pick that up, work on it seriously. So put your heart and soul on that onto that. So it shouldn't be a fallback option. Let's imagine a case where you work for so and so company, and you pick up something in crypto, listen to podcasts, listen to videos like this, and then start something as a side hustle. It's fine to start something as a side hustle, but once you get into it, that should be your primary thing, right? So you have to turn the tables around as quick as possible. And the second thing is, be committed and time box things. Let's say have a goal, have a bigger goal. Let's say if you want to be the Ethereum, if you want to be the Coinbase, if you want to be the Binance in the next 10 years, break your goals down into simple goals. Let's say have a goal for 6 months, 3 months, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, and then 10 years. Break it down and work towards that. It is okay if you don't hit the deadlines of it, because it's for your internal purposes, for your internal soul and heart. But you should have a timeline, right? And that's the second point. And then the third one is just keep your heads down, no matter what. Just continue building, because there are a lot of noises, a lot of distractions, especially in the bull market. And then there is a bear market where everything goes off, no funding, literally funding has tried. So always have this in mind as a founder, that you will go through two different cycles, a bear and a bull. And better to be prepared even before you start, because if you raise funding in bull market, you have to calculate a runway that lasts longer, right? Because nobody can predict markets, nobody can predict a bull or a bear. So you have to be prepared for both markets and to prepared for a longer time. That is really important as a founder. And I would say these are the three important things in my opinion.
No, they are pretty insightful and pretty solid advice for young entrepreneurs out there. If we, I'm sure that you made a lot of those, hard hitting investor pitches, which is why you've built what you built. And while doing that, oftentimes we have to step into the shoes of investors. And you just mentioned that there's a lot of noise in the market, usually during the bull market phases. And from an investor point of view, Vijay, how do you differentiate between noise and a genuinely good project? And are there certain uh, are there certain factors that you take into account when looking at a project that would do well and something that's maybe trying to impersonate or implicate another project or service? So how do you basically differentiate between noise and decent projects that you can put your investment into?
Mhm. I mean, it's not one or two factors that you can look into it, right? I mean, crypto is always a black box. Some people decide to uh, reveal their faces, some not. I have seen teams who haven't revealed their founders, or the team, they haven't doxed it, but they are super builders. I know these guys. And there are, on the other hand, there are teams who have doxed the team, who have shown, okay, Vijay is the founder of bitsCrunch. I'm stepping out of my comfort zone and telling the people that I'm the one who is the chief of what we build. So there are two sides of the coin. So beyond that, I look into the track record of people, if they have announced their identity. That is one case where we can see the education, see where they have worked before, what is their track record, are they building something, is there a GitHub activity, is there something legitimate that we could trust, right? World revolves around trust, right? And especially investments always come with trust. So if we have raised $6.5 million, that shows what sort of trust or name or brand value that we have created in the space, and that has catapulted in leading us to $6.5 million, which is what 52 crores in Indian rupees, right? So I would say it's a mix of several factors, but to be honest, it is not this particular thing or that particular thing. It's a mix of several different attributes that put together a strong team. I mean, if you look at Chainlink, they launched in ICO days in 2017. So look at that. It's 6 years of effort, and Chainlink is in a position where they are right now. And look at Polygon, Sandeep and JD. They started building in 2015 or 16. Pretty much the same. They have been building for the last 6 7 years. And look at the partnerships that they are closing. Polygon is now working with, I guess, pretty much most of the Web2 brands in the world. They work with Reddit, Mastercard, Mercedes Benz, Disney. I'm sure they are one of the best example. Maybe also to you on this podcast, we wish to be at the polygon of NFT space. I hope it happens in the next few years. We are, of course, backed by Polygon, so it would be nice if we achieve that feat and if we give them that
Yeah.
happiness as well.
We can wish you all the very best for that, and we hope that you do see this panning out as you say. And I think Vijay, bitsCrunch was really smart to capitalize on the NFT market so early. While you say that you weren't as early and would have liked to be a little more early, that's what all of us wish in the Web3 space. We're still early, I'd like to believe. But you were able to capitalize on the NFT wave pretty early. And this year has seen a wave or a sort of a boom in AI and AI related services, products, and it's just AI all over the news. And there are memes that say that Web3 entrepreneurs are now rebranding themselves as AI entrepreneurs. What is your take on this wave of AI that we've seen this year? And is bitsCrunch doing anything to sort of lure those AI driven customers in?
Yeah, you have to go back to the roots. So we are an AI
Yeah.
focused company, right from day one, right from the inception. We use AI. So I've just recently told this in a couple of stages as well. So we use AI not for the sake of using AI because that's the talk of the town, but we use artificial intelligence for real, right? I mean, if you go back to the roots, we do forensics, NFT forensics. We use AI to detect those forensics elements. So we look into NFT wash trading where people flip tokens. We estimate the fair price of NFTs using AI. We use AI to detect the fair price of NFTs, and we use computer vision and a bit of AI to detect the copycats of AI. So in general, we have been using AI since inception, and I'm really glad that I am at the convergence of both AI and crypto because we aren't a company that suddenly jumps onto the wagon and does something. Uh, People have been noticing this, and they know the roots. They know where we started, and that is also the reason why we have the backing that we have right now.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. What sort of a potential do you see in the convergence of AI and blockchain as technologies? And do you think that there will be quite a few monumental changes or events happening this year
Mhm.
that could lead that could sort of open the path for more entrepreneurs in this space?
Yeah, AI. One thing that AI has done is made a lot of lives easier. Let's say
For sure.
previously as a founder, you have to wear multiple hats where you have to be half legal, half marketing, half sales, half BD. You have to do
Yeah.
everything, and as an individual, trust me, it's really tough because after being in this role for quite a number of years, I say that it's a complete headache to be honest at times, and a complete surprise package at times. So
Yeah.
with AI, people can get the right kind of information at the right time without having to spend a lot of time. Been made a lot easier with the advent of ChatGPT, Bard, and a couple of other AI based applications have helped
Mm.
designers a bit, helped content writers a bit.
Yeah.
So it has helped get things done faster. And, I believe a lot more can evolve
Yeah.
as we move along, but it's still early because we need to really find the nitty-gritties of AI, nitty-gritties of um, the other side of the AI, right? I mean, people worry a lot about data, and especially
Mm.
from Germany, where GDPR, the data
Yeah.
protection laws are very heavy. So
Hmm.
to look at both the sides of the coin before judging what potential it could drive. But definitely AI has a lot in store. We have seen that in the form of a few applications already, and really looking forward to the convergence of more and more AI applications in the market.
Absolutely. We are, as in fact, a sector looking forward to this convergence, and AI did create a lot of ripples in this sort of steady sea that it was throughout this year. But AI was able to sort of create a lot of ripples, and I think a lot of Web3 brands did capitalize on this. Moving on to my next and last question for you, Vijay, and it is a really interesting discussion that I don't want to end, but we're running almost at the end of our time. So, my final question to you would be: what are your biggest expectations from this year, from the crypto market, from the NFT market, and from emerging technologies?
Mhm. I mean, no financial advice here.
Yeah, we
From
like to say that
uh,
before any sort
myself
of predictions.
from give any sorts of predictions, but yes, AI and blockchain, there is a lot of scope, especially in the convergence of it. And with Bitcoin holding around the corner with less than a year to go now,
Yeah,
you could probably see an uptick. But again, that's just my take. And
yeah,
then the filings of some of the Bitcoin ETFs, mm, they were given a time of 60 days, could be
yeah.
extended to 90 days. I believe that there'll be a decision by then. And with US elections also coming next year,
Mm,
around the next half of the year, that is also going to be monumental when it comes to crypto adoption because they are one of the openly talked and widely accepted or feared crypto market as such. And with China also looking into crypto, I believe the next half is going to be good for crypto bros, crypto boys and girls. And wish to see a lot of smiling faces because it's been more than a year of what has been a turmoil in this space where a lot of firms crashed, a lot of capitals got drained, a lot of money has been flushed out of the market. So I strongly believe that we will see a lot of smiling faces in the next 2 quarters.
Absolutely. More smiles to everyone who's using crypto and is in Web3, and hopefully more adoption to come throughout this year. And fingers crossed for that. This was a really interesting discussion, Vijay. Really great insights and some really great pieces of advice for young entrepreneurs or budding entrepreneurs in this space. Hope you all the very best with bitsCrunch. You're already doing a lot of amazing things in this space. To all our viewers watching, I would request you to check out bitsCrunch and go follow Vijay on all the social media platforms. Great guy to keep a track of, and he'll also keep you updated of whatever's happening in the Web3 space. Do follow Voice of Crypto for more such insightful discussions, and hopefully, we'll get as many guests as we are able to. And once again, Vijay, thank you so much for joining us today. It was a great discussion, and we look forward to you and bitsCrunch doing a lot more exciting things in this space.
Yep. Thanks again, and thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for joining, and thanks everyone for watching today. Bye bye.